What up, YouTube? Today, I'm going to talk about 5 cars that I would never buy. Stay tuned. Alright, so the first vehicle on the list is any vehicle that has the 3-valve Triton V8 from Ford. This includes the Ford F-150, the Lincoln Navigator, and the Ford Expedition, and there may be a few other vehicles out there that also have this engine. To my knowledge, these engines have smaller oil passages than what they should have had, and as a result, it can restrict oil flow back down to the oil pan. And if you're not changing your oil as often as you should be, sludge buildup can occur, which will prevent the oil from getting back altogether. Therefore, you can lose oil pressure to certain crucial components like your cam phasers and other components on the engine. This can cause serious damage to the engine. These engines cost anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000 to have replaced at a shop, and most of the time an engine replacement or an engine rebuild is the only fix for this issue. Also, the engine replacement tends to be much cheaper and less time consuming than the engine rebuild, which is why most of the time these vehicles get a brand new engine when this issue occurs. And when I purchase a vehicle, I like to know that the engine is solid, and that is why I would never buy a vehicle with the 3-valve Triton V8 from Ford. Next vehicle on our list is one that I personally hate quite a bit. Maybe not so much of a big deal because there's not too many of them on the road, but I had to throw this one in there, and that's going to be the Chevy Cavalier and the Pontiac Sunfire. These cars are some of the biggest pieces of shit that ever touched the road. I think that they were designed to be a throwaway vehicle, and that's exactly what they were. Many of them were built with some of the cheapest components imaginable. The interior plastics on almost all of them that are still on the road are all cracked, worn, warped. Anything that you can imagine probably has happened to these cars. Over my years as a mechanic, just about any type of problem that you can imagine on a car, I have seen on one of these cars. Also, I guess it kind of goes for all vehicles of the age that these vehicles are now, but the rust on these vehicles can get extremely bad to where it's almost not even safe to drive anymore. And so I would never ever buy a Cavalier. All right, the third vehicle on our list has 3 reasons that I would never buy it. And that's going to be any vehicle that has the Cadillac Northstar engine. It's very unfortunate because these vehicles are actually very nice in my opinion. However, they have a 2-piece oil pan, and to my knowledge, the upper oil pan leaks very badly. I think that's what the part is. Regardless, they have massive oil leaks. I mean, imagine a waterfall of oil just pouring out of your engine. That's what these Northstar engines do. Constantly leaking oil. And in order to replace it, I believe it's an engine out job. I could be wrong on that, but one way or another, it is in the thousands of dollars that it will cost you to have this oil leak issue replaced on your Cadillac Northstar. The second issue is these cylinder head bolts are really thin on these vehicles, and they do tend to crack and break and cause compression leaks or coolant leaks into the cylinder, basically similar symptoms to what you would find with a head gasket failure. The upgrade is to replace them with these thicker head studs, and that does fix the problem, but once again, you're probably looking at an engine out job in order to do this repair. And the third reason why I would never buy a Cadillac with the Northstar is because I'm a Lincoln guy. So I'm going to go ahead and buy me a Lincoln. On to the next one. Vehicle number 4 that I would never buy is any year of Nissan Altima. Most of the time, these vehicles are poorly maintained. Oil changes haven't been done on time. You'll find oil leaks all over the place, cracks in the serpentine belt, bald tires, thin brake pads, all the common things that need to be maintained over time. Most of the Nissan Altimas you look at, this just simply hasn't been done. Also, many of these vehicles have a bunch of aftermarket upgrades that in fact make the car worse. Lots of the wiring may have been gone through for different radios, different lighting. They may try to put one of those cold air intakes on it or an exhaust that makes it sound like a you know, you don't really want that on your Nissan Altima. Many times multiple aftermarket upgrades have been done to this car. A lot of times they don't get kept stock, at least the older ones in particular. And the final reason I would not really like to have a Nissan Altima is because many of these vehicles have been driven hard. They've been, you know, accelerated to the floor, you know, going fast all over the place like it's a race car when it's really just supposed to be a daily driver that's relatively efficient and affordable for you. So for those reasons, I would not buy a Nissan Altima. And the fifth type of vehicle that I would never buy is any BMW that's not a motorcycle. These vehicles are extremely high maintenance vehicles, and even something as simple as an oil change can be extremely expensive. And once you get to 100,000 miles or higher, these vehicles' maintenance requirements get even worse. And if you haven't taken care of some of the initial maintenance, then it can really spiral out of control for you and make it very difficult for you to catch up on it. Especially if you're buying one of these vehicles used, you're going to have a whole laundry list of problems that somebody else didn't want to deal with, and now you're stuck with it. And due to the fact that these vehicles are extremely expensive and unreliable is the reasons I would never buy a BMW. And that pretty much sums up the 5 vehicles that I would never ever want to purchase for myself. What's a vehicle that you would never buy? Leave it in the comments below, and be sure to like and subscribe for many more awesome videos on the Andy's Auto YouTube channel. I'm Andy, signing off.